Hello, thought leaders, scholars, and virtue change agents. My name is Dr. Lisa Marie Portugal, and I am the Leadership Architect. I'd like to welcome you today to another talk that I have prepared for you and in service to you and your goals. This talk comes out of one of my books called A Culture of Excellence, Virtuous Leadership Principles for Organizational Success, a Management System. And the cover slide is also the cover of the book, The Four Cardinal Virtues: Prudence, Justice, Fortitude, and Temperance. Isn't that a beautiful picture? I just love stained glass. Okay, so this particular slide is my personal brand and logo. After taking many courses and having many degrees, at some point or other, I was asked to develop a personal and professional brand and logo. And this is what I came up with. There is my Manifest Leadership Academy at the top. And then you also see the word magnanimity. I love that word. That word means greatness. It is a virtue. It is one of the virtues. And it is a virtue that can be achieved when we practice virtue building through all of the other virtues that you see there in the graphic. So as we virtue build within ourselves and we work on each of these areas, we can develop magnanimity or greatness, that virtue within ourselves, within our families, within our communities, our society, and within our nation. And then, of course, there is my virtuous leadership theme. I absolutely love the notion of virtuous leadership. Okay, so here is the table of contents. There's my About page. Ethics can be taught to all people. What is concupiscence? Interesting word, right? I love the sound of that word. Concupiscence. As a wordsmith, I just love that word. Next is consciously overcoming disordered desires. That's what concupiscence is. It's disordered desires. Conclusion and then references. Okay, so here is my About page, and as you can see, I'm all about a shared culture of excellence and sharing our Christian virtues, values, and principles to others in every area that or circumstance that we find ourselves in, whether that be in the workplace or school place or personal or professional engagements with others. We want to share our values to others and create a shared culture of excellence. All right, so let's continue on. So the first slide and the first topic we're going to get into is called Ethics Can Be Taught to All People. In my view, ethics can and should be taught. Some cultures, certain groups of people, and certain families may have a jump start on traditional values, morals, and ethics because they have been exposed to these traditions regarding proper behaviors and actions longer than others. And that may sound familiar to you. Maybe you come from a family like that. For example, traditional Christianity has been spread through Western nations for the last 2,000 plus years, while other parts of the world have not been exposed to these values, morals, and ethics for the same amount of time. Thus, there can be an incongruent clash of cultures when individuals meet in the workplace or other areas in the world while interacting and doing business. While ethics may be viewed as cultural or genetics to some, ethics can be taught to all people, regardless of non-exposure, genetics, or culture. What is concupiscence? Concupiscence is a term that should be taught in unison with traditional ethics, values, and morals, because this has a great effect on how people can understand and view their human weaknesses and how to overcome those challenges. Concupiscence is about the disordered desires that all mankind suffer from in varying degrees. Disordered desires are those desires that human beings seek that can lead to vice, poor choices, bad behaviors, poor health, and damaged families and societies. Because the human person was born with a nature for disordered desires, having an understanding about that problem as well as how to address the problem should be taught to all people. Understanding our disordered nature and common desire for vice is essential for people to understand who they are and why they do what they do. consciously overcoming disordered desires, or what is known as concupiscence. Next, teaching people how to consciously overcome disordered desires or concupiscence should be part of a comprehensive traditional ethics, morals, and values curriculum. There are some cultures and people who reject the notion of concupiscence and disordered desires, as well as the notion of vice and the damage that vice causes to self, family, others, society, and nation. This is where incongruence can occur when disparate cultures and people interact. Thus, ethics can be taught to all people, and some people have had longer exposure to these concepts, which observably can be noted in how people behave and how cultures, societies, and groups have developed over time. The health and well-being of the individual, society, organizations, and nations can be directly tied to knowledge and understanding of concupiscence and traditional ethics, values, principles, and morals. Now let me ask you a question. How might you model virtue-building development for others not from our own Christian culture to help them raise awareness of the importance and value of the concept? Very interesting, right? So while you're going through your walk through life, whether it be in school or in your workplace or your communications with others, wherever you happen to be, think about this question, reflect on it deeply, and how might we be able to spread our Christian understanding of what concupiscence is, what disordered desires are, and modeling virtue-building development in the self, so that others can get a better grasp of these concepts and themes that we're so familiar with in our own culture and in our Western civilization nations. As we know, there are many different cultures that live amongst us now in our Western Christian nations, and they don't have the same background that we may have or we may be coming from, being brought up in our culture and our traditions. So how might we be able to minister to others and help them understand some of these concepts so that we can create a shared culture of excellence wherever we happen to be? All right, here is the reference page. You can find my book out there as well if you're interested. I want to thank you so much for participating today and having the wherewithal to want to grow your own leadership skills and style and brand. And as always, it is my pleasure and my honor to serve you. God bless you.